Depression quotes for when you feel down. When you are surrounded by all these people, it can be lonelier than when you're by yourself. You can be in a huge crowd, but if you don't feel like you can trust anyone or talk to anybody, you feel like you're really alone. When people don't know exactly what depression is, they can be judgmental. Every man has his secret sorrows, which the world knows not, and oftentimes we call a man cold when he is only sad. You're like a gray sky. You're beautiful, even though you don't want to be. Mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. It is easier to say my tooth is aching than to say my heart is broken. You say you're depressed, all I see is resilience. You are allowed to feel messed up and inside out. It doesn't mean you're defective, it just means you're human. Noble deeds and hot baths are the best cures for depression. One swallow does not make a summer, neither does one fine day. Similarly, one day or brief time of happiness does not make a person entirely happy. I saw the world in black and white instead of the vibrant colors and shades I knew existed. I didn't want to wake up. I was having a much better time asleep, and that's really sad. It was almost like a reverse nightmare, like when you wake up from a nightmare you are so relieved. I woke up into a nightmare. Do not brood over your past mistakes and failures, as this will only fill your mind with grief, regret, and depression. Do not repeat them in the future. Depression is the most unpleasant thing I have ever experienced. It is that absence of being able to envisage that you will ever be cheerful again. The absence of hope, that very deadened feeling, which is so very different from feeling sad. Sad hurts, but it's a healthy feeling. It is a necessary thing to feel. Depression is very different. Concern should drive us into action and not into a depression. No man is free who cannot control himself. You don't have to live a lie. Living a lie will mess you up. It will send you into depression. It will warp your values. Do you not see how necessary a world of pains and troubles is to school an intelligence and make it a soul? The lotus is the most beautiful flower, whose petals open one by one, but it will only grow in the mud. In order to grow and gain wisdom, first you must have the mud, the obstacles of life and its suffering. That's the thing about depression. A human being can survive almost anything, as long as she sees the end in sight. But depression is so insidious, and it compounds daily, that it's impossible to ever see the end. If you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. Don't try to solve serious matters in the middle of the night. Life is 10% what you experience and 90% how you respond to it. The pupil dilates in darkness and the end finds light, just as the soul dilates in misfortune and the end finds God. A melancholy-looking man, he had the appearance of one who has searched for the leak in life's gas pipe with a lighted candle. All depression has its roots in self-pity, and all self-pity is rooted in people taking themselves too seriously. Crying is one of the highest devotional songs. One who knows crying knows spiritual practice. If you can cry with a pure heart, nothing else compares to such a prayer. Crying includes all the principles of yoga. I have had to experience so much stupidity, so many vices, so much error, so much nausea, disillusionment and sorrow, just in order to become a child again and begin anew. I had to experience despair. I had to sink to the greatest mental depths, to thoughts of suicide, in order to experience grace. I am so demanding and difficult for my friends because I want to crumble and fall apart before them so that they will love me even though I am no fun, lying in bed, crying all the time, not moving. Depression is all about if you love me you would. Some friends don't understand this. They don't understand how desperate I am to have someone say, "I love you and I support you just the way you are because you're wonderful just the way you are." They don't understand that I can't remember anyone ever saying that to me. I'm not grateful for depression, but it honestly made me work harder and gave me the drive that I have to succeed and to make it work. Mental illness lives all around us every day. I've seen it in other family members, I've seen it in friends, and I've dealt with it myself with my own postpartum depression. Anger, resentment, and jealousy doesn't change the heart of others, it only changes yours. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. The sun stopped shining for me is all. The whole story is, I am sad. I am sad all the time, and the sadness is so heavy that I can't get away from it. Not ever. Any fool can be happy. It takes a man with real heart to make beauty out of the stuff that makes us weep. What the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls a butterfly. It is not seen as insane when a fighter, under an attack that will inevitably lead to his death, chooses to take his own life first. In fact, this act has been encouraged for centuries and is accepted even now as an honorable reason to do the deed. How is it any different when you are under attack by your own mind? I feel like a defective model, like I came off the assembly line flat out fucked and my parents should have taken me back for repairs before the warranty ran out. Sometimes, life will kick you around, but sooner or later, you realize you're not just a survivor, you're a warrior, and you're stronger than anything life throws your way. Whenever you read a cancer booklet or website or whatever, they always list depression among the side effects of cancer. But, in fact, depression is not a side effect of cancer. Depression is a side effect of dying. If you are chronically down, it is a lifelong fight to keep from sinking. When you're lost in those woods, it sometimes takes you a while to realize that you are lost. For the longest time, you can convince yourself that you've just wandered off the path, that you'll find your way back to the trailhead any moment now. Then night falls again and again, and you still have no idea where you are, and it's time to admit that you have bewildered yourself so far off the path that you don't even know from which direction the sun rises anymore. At heart, I have always been a coper. I've mostly been able to walk around with my wounds safely hidden, and I've always stored up my deep depressive episodes for the weeks off when there was time to have an abbreviated version of a complete breakdown. But in the end, I'd be able to get up and on with it, could always do what little must be done to scratch by. It's my experience that people are a lot more sympathetic if they can see you hurting. And for the millionth time in my life, I wish for measles or smallpox or some other easily understood disease just to make it easier on me and also on them. Perfume was first created to mask the stench of foul and offensive odors. Spices and bold flavorings were created to mask the taste of putrid and rotting meat. What then was music created for? Was it to drown out the voices of others, or the voices within ourselves? I think I know. Because that's the thing about depression. When I feel it deeply, I don't want to let it go. It becomes a comfort. I want to cloak myself under its heavy weight and breathe it into my lungs. I want to nurture it, grow it, cultivate it. It's mine. I want to check out with it, drift asleep wrapped in its arms, and not wake up for a long, long time. I've got a bad case of the 3 AM guilt, you know, when you lie in bed awake and replay all those things you didn't do right. Because, as we all know, nothing solves insomnia like a nice warm glass of regret, depression, and self-loathing. If I can't feel, if I can't move, if I can't think, and I can't care, then what conceivable point is there in living? I just want to sleep. A coma would be nice, or amnesia. Anything, just to get rid of these thoughts, whispers in my mind. Did he rape my head, too?